Good evening, my dear brothers and sisters, and welcome to talk number 1 of your Christian Life program. My name again is Vincent Cabrera, and our talk for this evening is God's love. I'd like to start by quoting some famous love lines from popular love stories. I came here tonight because I realize that when you found the one that you want to spend the rest of your life with, you want your life to start right now. This came from the movie When Harry Met Sally, 1989, with Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan. The scene was New Year's Eve, and Harry goes to a party where Sally was. Sally didn't want to speak to Harry, so Sally goes to Harry and says, "Why are you here?" And Harry responds with this line, "I came here tonight because I realize when you found the one you want to spend the rest of your life with, you want your life to start right now." This love story shows us an example of what love can do to us. It makes us want to start a new life. It creates a new life for us. It creates a new beginning. Here's another one. Love means never having to say you're sorry. This is from the movie The Love Story, 1970, Ryan O'Neal and Ali MacGraw. The film is considered the most romantic movie of all times. The scene was Jennifer was terminally ill, and Oliver comes to the hospital realizing that he cannot live without her. Oliver sits by her bedside and says, "I'm sorry." And Jennifer says, "No, love means never having to say you're sorry." My dear brothers and sisters, this love story shows us that Jennifer's love is so great that she is willing to forgive even at the point of death. Love forgives. Here's another one. You make me want to be a better man. This is from the movie As Good As It Gets, 1997, Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt. The scene was Melvin, played by Jack Nicholson, and Carol, played by Helen Hunt, were dining, and Melvin was being his usual difficult to deal with. So Carol stands up and says, "Give me one reason why I should not leave." And Melvin responds, "You make me want to be a better man." This love story tells us that love will redeem you from your old way of life and make you a better man, a better person. From these examples, it tells us that love creates, love forgives, love redeems. Our talk for this evening is about an extraordinary kind of love. The love that you and I both are experiencing and will continue to experience. Our talk again is God's love. Another line. You are precious in my eyes and I love you. This one, my dear brothers and sisters, is from our God, written in Isaiah 43 verse 4. You are precious in my eyes and I love you. Our talk for this evening is about God's love. God's love for you, God's love for me. It is the greatest love story that is being written in our lives. So let us all begin to learn more about God's love. There are 3 core values that we will learn from this evening. That God's love creates, God's love forgives, and that God's love redeems. God's love creates. I'd like to take you from the very beginning. In the beginning, the world was empty, it was dark, there was nothing, and God broke the deafening silence and stillness of the universe. He lit up its blinding darkness, He filled up its infinite void. He disturbed the sound of silence. He did all this because He wanted to share His love. For love is not love unless it is shared. It is true, right? If you have love in you, it's hard to just contain that, but the only way that you can express that love is to share that love to others. And that is what God wants, to share His love to all of us. The starting point of understanding God's love is found in the story of the creation. God's love creates. In the story of creation, since God is love, He is compelled by His very nature to create so that He can share His love. So when we review the story of creation, for 5 days, God saw everything that He has created was good. For 5 days, God created the heavens and the earth. He created water and land. He created the animals and the plants. And after each of His creation that God has created, He said that it is good. God appreciated everything that He has created and found it good. Then on the 6th day, what did God create? God created man and woman. And after God created man and woman, God looked at everything that He had made and found it very good. After God had created the heavens and the earth, the land and the water, the animals, the plants, He found them good. But after creating man and woman, He found all of creation very good. God found that in His creation, it is now complete, that there is now man and woman who can care and nurture all of His creation. And for that reason, after creating man and woman, He found everything very good. So God created man in His image. In the divine image, God created him. What better demonstration of God's love than being created in the image of the Creator? But what happens next? But man, in the exercise of his God-given gift of free will, rejected his Creator by sinning. And since then, man has continued to offend God and go against His ways. But God's love never wanes, despite the sinfulness of man. If we look at the stories of Adam and Eve, starts with Adam and Eve, that they were asked to just not touch that tree, in the center of this garden. But they were disobedient and did not follow God. What happens next is that God punishes them, sends them out of the garden. But God did not just kick them out of the garden. God gave them the grace by giving them clothing. So God extended to them gestures and actually clothed them. And this story goes on with their children, Cain and Abel. You know the story of Cain and Abel. Cain did not offer the best of his harvest, but Abel offered the best flawless of his flock. And what happened? God favored the offering of Abel. Cain was disappointed. He was jealous. He murdered his brother. All because of jealousy. From disobedience to jealousy to murder. And Cain did not just get killed, right? God gave him, protected him from being killed on sight. It is written in Genesis 4:15. And there's other stories of how man has rejected their Creator by sinning. You have the story of the flood, that population has grown and man has turned into evil and turned away from God. So God sent this flood to eradicate evil. But even when mankind continued to disobey and offend God, God continued to promise Abraham that He would love him and his descendants forever. He made the same promise to Isaac, to Moses, to David. As in the Old Testament times, God's love for us today remains the same compassionate and forgiving love of the God who created us. Even when we abandon Him, He patiently waits for us to come back to Him. No matter how sinful we have been in our past, God's love for us is so great that He will forgive us. Brings us to God's love forgives. God's forgiving love is described in the Bible as the most well-known parable that has been known with the wrong title. It is the prodigal son. It is not just about the reckless spending of the son, but this parable is about a father who has two sons. The central figure in this parable is neither the young son or the elder son. The central figure is the father. And the central message is the father's prodigal love, his lavish and generous love, not just for the younger son, but for the elder son as well. If we review this parable, we look at how the younger son demands the share of the property that falls under him. And under the Jewish law, the children inherit their share of property only after the father's death. By asking for his share of the inheritance, the younger son is effectively saying that as far as he is concerned, his father is already dead. It is expected that he will not come back. How many fathers nowadays would receive that kind of suggestion from your children today? How many would comply if one of your children asks you? Not many. This is truly an astonishing request, and it would have been more astonishing in the ancient world where parents were highly reverenced. It would have been equivalent to saying, "Father, I can't wait until you die. Give me my share." And despite the breathtaking and insulting audacity of the younger son's request, the father grants it. Amazing. And what happens next? The son sets off to a distant country. He made lots of friends because he had lots of money.